Hello, welcome to the channel. It's a fire lighting session. I actually forgot to press record. So I love the fire lighting sessions because every fire lighting session is different. Is this one going to be a success? Is it going to work? Ooh, well, so there's no excuse for not having the fire on. I suppose, especially when has a cold air coming in there from outside. Oh, it's cold. So what's been happening today? Well, it's one of these mornings where I've got sort of like last night. It's when I don't make definite plans. It can be a bit vague, and my day sort of progresses. It sort of like morphs itself. I have got a list that I write occasionally, but I need to write a new one. So yeah, maybe that's what it is. Have you ticked off all the things on your list? Well, one of them is sort the firewood out the back, which is what I've been trying to do. But I mean, there's a lot to do there. I mean, there's like a week's work there, and there's a lot of work involved with fire, log burners and fires and things. But it's part of life, gives you something to do, keep you going, So I mean, obviously, it means I'm not doing other things, but you've got. I mean, obviously, if there's two people living, working, or you got kids or something, maybe you don't have time, to mess about like that. But I have, so I'm fortunate that way that I've got time to do it. Wow, that's fairly going, isn't it? So what's going on now? The talk of the internet is Jaguar rebranding. It's just that there's a lot of people who don't like Nigel Farage. Farage. Is it Farage? Farage? Farage. Nigel Farage. Garage. Farage. Got a garage, I've got a Farage. I don't know where that name comes from. It must be French or something. Farage. Who knows? But Nigel is just pointing out. He's getting blamed. Right, a lot of people. So what they do is they don't like him. So on the surface they go on about him, but they don't recognise that the government and net zero stuff is behind the demise of Jaguar. I mean, it isn't finished yet, but it will be, and it's the same as Volkswagen or these car manufacturers. The ultimate aim is to put us off the road, and that means we can't or won't ever buy a Jaguar. And it's got that bad we might not even buy a Volkswagen because there aren't any available because of their electric car nonsense. Going for net zero. So instead of going, the government's like all parties, the Conservatives, Labour's worse, Scottish Greens in Scotland, the SNP, the Liberals, they're all into this net zero thing, destroying manufacturing, all this lies, the Labour, the lies that they tell, Ed Miliband, the lies, and that carbon thing, what is it again? That's like snake oil salesman. It's lies, and they know it. It's just lies, and we're dumb enough. Are we dumb enough to believe it? Well, I don't believe it. But that's what's wrong with Jaguar. It's fucked because of the electric vehicles, and not because of Nigel Farage, right? And he says it deserved to fail. He's correct. It's too late. Right. So I think the fire's going. Right. So that is going. Shut the door. I think let's just let that burn away. Okay, Donald. So I think so what I need to do is I need to get into the studio. It's one of the things I need to do. So I've got quite a lot of information coming in about the battery storage facilities. Battery storage facilities. I think it was. So we've got attached is a report from the Marine Environment. The BESS is what I'm talking about, and they're proposing to build one in Plane. I'll just quickly run over it a little bit. So the problems, the potential dangers of battery storage facilities. It's 1 mile from Plane. They're going to be putting it, which is near Stirlingshire. The issues that can arise, mainly bursting into flames. So when they burn, when the batteries burn, battery storage facilities, when they burn, it's like burning plastic. 100 tonnes in this case. We're guessing the weight because we don't exactly know for sure the weight of the batteries. So it's plastic venting toxic fumes into the air for each installation. So that's a field full of these things. South of Plane. Past aircraft burning the runway I've seen in the past. It'll give you an idea how much a problem smoke could be. So if you breathe in one lot of that smoke, you're in a lot of trouble. So the other risk is they are a target for bad people. So they're easy to set in a light. Batteries naturally overheat and burn if just left alone, so they can catch fire without on their own. So it's easy to set them on fire. You just use a gun or something. Failure rate. So vulnerable for ballistic attack. A lot of fire, heat and smoke. 250,000 batteries together in the open and simple. I said, God, what do we even think? Another thing is the company is probably going to go into receivership, leave hundreds of tons of toxic material behind, and then the taxpayer's going to have to pay for it. So I mean, we've got the Brewster election. So really, what we're looking at is making them spend more money. So the battery storage facility, so they need to bury these things down in the ground so that they can be less of a fire hazard, and you pour water into them. That's going to cost too much, so they're not going to do that. So they're just going to go up and put them in a field. So the wind turbine power pile and solar panel battery electric plan is expensive and unreliable. So there's no point in doing it in the first place. Right, so let's move away from that just now. So they're going on about Nigel Farage,
Jaguar, think of the E-Type, think of the powerful logo on the front of the car of Inspector Morse, of a really great British brand. Well, okay, it may now be owned by the Indians, but have a look at what the modern advertising industry have done. This is the new logo. I don't know what it stands for, do you? And the advert showing some sort of almost non-human
non-binary
figures
types,
walking through the door,
mixed race,
without
non-binaries,
even showing cars. I'm not quite sure what they're saying.
Mostly black,
what they want to do strikes me as being another Bud Light moment. I predict Jaguar will now go bust. And you know what? They deserve to.
Well,
what is it with the modern advertising
what a lot of
industry,
these
big corporate
numpties
company?
are
What
doing,
is it with the modern advertising?
a lot of these numpties are doing is they're
Think Jaguar.
focusing on what he's
What
saying.
is it with the modern? Think of the E-Type. Think of.
They're focusing on what he's saying. So they're attacking him rather than what. So this Jason Marsden, what a stupid thing to say at the end. They deserve to. I mean, seriously, this man that is British, they do deserve to, because they've been pushed into that's what's going to happen. The government's done it. So so that Jason Marsden. So I said, because the government made the landscape impossible to work. He's right. Any leader deserves to fail, as it's a flawed idea. Now just any company indulges in nonsense fantasy deserves to fail. I'm sorry, this gets British jobs, British manufacturing, British that he wants to go. So you go to, well, you don't like Tesla as well. Well, what's that got to do with it? So what does he disagree with? So is he a green communist? University of Sunderland. Probably a green communist. Probably. I think he's got a Morris Marina. Oh my god. A Morris Marina. Okay now. Oh yeah. Cool. I had Morris. It was a Volvo 360 GLT. Morris Marina. That's amazing what you find when you just have a look. Oh yeah, it's 15 years old. Yeah, what's all this shit? Doctor Who. People want to watch when they put their bairns on, when they put their bairns on the internet, you can go watch that. I mean, have I done that? Yeah, I have actually, but, when you're, Facebook and everything's like quite, shouldn't even go on it ourselves. Look at me, I can speak. Anyway, he isn't saying any EV deserves to fail, saying that a company that employs British workers deserves to fail because he doesn't like the branding ad. I think it's it's much deeper than that. I'm finding it hard to articulate myself for this. He's saying it deserves to fail because it's the wrong thing to do, so it deserves to fail. So you're getting all uptight about British jobs being lost when the whole British industry is being destroyed and decimated. This net zero stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a little bit. Yeah, I mean, shouting into the void here, aren't we? Yeah. There was You have a look at that then now. Okay, right. This guy was a weird guy. Oh, never mind that. It's the definition of. It was about Scotland being a country. People got uptight. Somebody said, "So did you know Scotland is home to the tallest waterfall in?" So Scotland is home to the tallest waterfall in Britain, named. So a lot of people got uptight at that. I mean, it's like Scotland is home to the tallest waterfall in Britain. It's a perfectly fine thing to say. It's in Britain. Scotland's in Britain. But in their mentality, they don't, they don't see Scotland as being in Britain, but it is in the British Isles. I mean, I could get it if Scotland was like some island somewhere and it was separated by water, then I would get it. So I don't know, I probably got this wrong, right? But yeah, Scotland is part of Great Britain, so mentioning that is within reason. They go in a huff about it, So Great Britain is our country, I said. So the British Isles is what you're thinking of. So you've got like geographical rather than political. Scotland, England, Wales and Ireland are part of Great Britain, or UK. Great Britain is not a country, said this Alex Staton. It's the largest of the British Isles. The largest what? Great Britain, the island of Ireland, the Isle of Man, and all the other islands that surround Great Britain. Great Britain is not a country. So Great Britain's not a country. What is it? If it's not a country, then what is it? Which includes Great Britain, Ireland, Isle of Man, and all the islands that surround Great Britain, along with Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland from the United Kingdom of England. So this is really weirdly written. Scotland, no, this is not difficult. Scotland, well, I says, if it's not difficult, you haven't explained it very well. Spectre problem is you. I says, you are not only being condescending, but presenting yourself. Maybe you have inferior compliment. So, if Great Britain is not a country, what is it? I get myself wrapped up in some stupid things here, don't I? Right, I should have. Sometimes I think of things after a while. I forget, you know. So if Great Britain isn't a country, this guy says it's not a country. What is it then? Hydrocolloid Engineering, Abertay University. But yeah, I don't think he studies live language Glasgow. Hydrogeologist at Engineering and Environmental Oh, right. Studied Environmental Management at Abertay University. Studied Geology at University of Aberdeen. He'll be in with the, what's that? Another grifter. Another grifter. Oh, aye. Absolutely. Another grifter. Another one. Another grifter. Aye. So you'll be in Stop Stigma. Yeah. You know, going for all the whatever's easiest. Whatever comes along. There he is. Right. That's his grandfather. Aye, so he's into, right, so that's, I mean, that conceptual art, he's been at that in Dundee, that art place. That's down at the front. I've been up there. So you get a type of people that they're they're woke, and they're in with, they're getting money. They're getting money off the government. We all do, but we'll get money from somewhere. But I like to think that I can be more. So he's in with all that. He's in with the Scottish government and all that shit. It'll be anti-British, definitely. You get a feel for somebody quite easily. Whether so you get a feel for somebody. What was this nutter? There was a nutter I was on about the other day. So they're really it's a lefty that I'm dealing with there. A lefty. Matt Norman. He was really got a bit funny. And so there's resentment right from the offset. Matt Norman. So it's about Clarkson, smug guest brand Jeremy Clarkson, aggressive. I don't think he was. BBC Newsnight. Jeremy, so they go for that sort of feminist kind of cuddly thing. So it's like the electric car, the advert for the Jaguar, when you've got these non-binary mixed race people floating around, in these cuddly sort of, it's like woo sort of thing, and it's hiding a darker undertone where these things like are going to catch fire and kill us all. So it's this fluffy kind of. So that's what this is as well as the BBC. That's all part of the globalist. It's their fluffy sort of isn't Jeremy Clarkson so aggressive? Well, no, he's just so if somebody speaks the truth, they're aggressive. So Orwellian sort of thing, yeah. So basically, we'll just quickly go over this and we'll go and check the fire. Matt Norman. So I don't know what he does. I worked out that he was a civil servant, actually. Doesn't give much away, which see these people, they should stay off Facebook. If they have to protect their jobs, you know. So this and done very well out of, you've got to, what you've got to do here, you've got to add all comments. Let's quickly do this. I know this is taking a bit of time. Right, you just get out of it. And done very well out of it for himself. So that's the sort of resentment coming in there. It's why most people do anything to get some of it, even if it's a feel-good factor. He was already well off. Try shaking off that peasant mentality. That was so. Rich bloke. Again, resentment. Come on, focus. Rich bloke getting even richer by exploiting tax loophole. It's the #1 feel-good story of the year. Absolutely, except farmers apparently who are just doing it out of the goodness of their hearts, therefore should be entirely tax exempt. Yes, but Victoria Darvish is also rich. What you're saying is a wealthy man supporting everyday ordinary farmers and being honest, but a lot don't recognise honesty. No, that's what you're seeing. I'm seeing a man whose actions have contributed to increased demand price for farmland, which has made it unaffordable for many, getting pissy because a journalist has called him out on it. We do see things differently. Jeremy has bought farmland, is using it for farming. The risk and danger, corporations getting the land of what is already happening. We can't afford to lose any more agricultural land as currently that is what's happening, being filled with concrete up and down the country. That's what this is about, and you are failing to recognise the blatant hypocrisy of Victoria Derbyshire. I'm failing to recognise it because it's not even remotely hypocritical. So her being wealthy isn't hypocritical, and calling him out for being wealthy. Okay, Matt. Unless, of course, Miss Derbyshire has herself bought a farm as a deliberate tax avoidance strategy. I don't know what she's done to avoid paying tax. In which case, I take it all back and feel I agree with you. Mr. Clarkson has contributed to the raising of land prices. He has farmed without any of the associate financial risk due to his Amazon TV deal. Now he's getting in a strop and stamping his feet because someone has pointed this out. I don't see it like that. It's not about whether Darvish has bought a farm, it's about the hypocrisy of her wealth. Where is it? What has she done with her wealth? Who knows? That's not relevant. The definition of having wealth means you have protected it, invested it, otherwise you wouldn't have any. I doubt she is skint. Jeremy has invested some of his in a farm. He did that a few years ago, and prior to that owned a farm and has lived in the country for a few years after leaving London, as he said. He's doing a positive thing in highlighting the sheer impossibility of running a farm, and he is standing up for farmers, which in turn means he's standing up for us. She is getting in a strop and exposing the fact he bought a farm whilst not disclosing where her wealth has gone. Typical BBC hypocrisy. The risk and danger, corporations getting the land, what is already happening. We can't afford to lose any more agricultural land, and as currently that is what is happening, being filled with concrete up and down the country. She is also perpetuating government propaganda that this money is for the NHS. I'm sorry, but what nonsense in exchange. Miss Derbyshire is a journalist interviewing Mr. Clarkson. She's under no obligation to disclose her levels of wealth, and it would be insane for her to do so. She doesn't get in a strop at all. Certainly, calmly ask a question Clarkson, a man who got his big break from the BBC. Another little hypocrisy, don't forget, spits a dummy and tries to get the crowd on side against her and her employers. So another pathetic example of his bullying, but you tug the forelock view of all you like at the people who are part of the problem and the solution. Well, what he's doing here, he's saying that I'm tugging the forelock, but it's just we're really arguing about who that is, or we seem to be. She asked a question that was in line with government propaganda. Are you suggesting that it was coincidental? Jeremy doesn't get in a strop. He was flabbergasted at the hypocrisy of Derbyshire. The argument we are having is that we disagree on who is the problem. Jeremy Clark has always been a force for good. Try looking at immigration, net zero, civil servants, recent pandemic instigated a move towards working from home. House and land prices all went up accordingly, leaving those unable or previously unwilling to invest in land or housing left behind. Socialist policies and the crazy pointless implementation of green communism are going to destroy life as we know it. It's all going to go horribly wrong. Okay, you're completely nuts. Fair enough. I'll stop posting. It's not healthy for either of us. They really didn't give much away, did they? So you don't want to listen to the reality of the situation, so you cast doubt on my mental health. That's very condescending. You'd be the type that if I said don't use flammable cladding on a tower block, you would accuse me of being nuts. But look what's happened. Hundreds died because of your type of complacency. You are conflating Clarkson with hobby farmers or gentleman farmers. Clarkson bought a farm, his farm it, therefore he is now a farmer, no question. And the reason you don't like Clarkson is you're probably a civil servant. That's why you don't like Clarkson. He's pointing out how useless you are, how farmers are important, not you. Right, so Matt Norman, you are the numpty of the week. Matt, there he is. Matt Norman, numpty. Civil service numpty, spineless piece of shit. That was 12 years ago. Doesn't give much away though, does he? Right, I think it's time we moved on from this. It's taken too long, I apologise. Let's see how the fire's doing. Oh yeah, lovely and warm. Right, so I need to work out what I'm doing today. I need to get dressed. I was going to go to Cumbernauld, it was floating around in my head. But I think I'll leave that till Monday. Tuesday morning I'm going to do it. So I'm going to carry on with the log cutting today and try and get into that room eventually. Start working on some of the paintings and drawings and stuff that I've been planning for a while. I've really been letting that go, sadly. So thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. And I'm going to put some more logs on. Bye! Isn't that nice? Huh?